Hi, Brian Dean with Caring Palms Massage and Reiki. And a question I get asked a lot is, what is Reiki? Now, 20 years ago, I'd say Reiki and people would say, what's that? Nowadays, people say, gee, I've heard of that, which has shown how much it's grown in the last 20 years. But what's Reiki? Okay, in simplest terms, Reiki is positive energy brought in from the universe by somebody that knows how to tap into it, passed through them into somebody else for the purpose of healing. It comes from the Japanese rei and ki. Ki is universal life force energy. It's the energy in the rocks and the trees and all around. If you'll follow George Lucas, it's the force. Okay, ki is used in a lot of the martial arts. Aikido, Hapkido. It's the same as chi, as in Tai Chi, using universal life force energy. The Indian word for it is prana. Rei, we've been taught forever, is God consciousness, and I always want to say God, Goddess, deity of your choice, whatever you feel is the ultimate deity. It doesn't pick religions. I like to refer to it as the source of all things. But the more I use Reiki and the more I think about it, is I like to think about it, Rei meaning spirit guided. So universal life force energy guided by spirit. And I say that because Reiki goes where it needs to go most in the person that it's being put in. And that could be physical, emotional, or spiritual. Once it leaves the practitioner's hands, it goes where it thinks it should go. There's a lady in England years ago that had a back problem, so she went to see a Reiki practitioner, and she started having nightmares afterwards. So she got on a Reiki chat board, started asking some questions, and it took some time to get the full information, but she had been sexually abused by her father for a period of 16 years. The time I was talking to her, she was 42 years old, and she'd taken all these memories and buried them deep away in the farthest dungeons of her mind. And we all know that we don't fix problems by burying them, we fix them by working through them. Reiki went into her body and said, what needs me the most? And it went and said, okay, this does. And it started bringing them up. It started knocking down the walls that she put around them, so that it actually forced her to get the help she needed and work through them rather than keeping them buried. And that's true with anything. You bury something, eventually it becomes unearthed and you've got to deal with it. But the Reiki said, okay, that's what needs the most work. And it started working on it. So that's a mental emotional issue. Okay, I can tell you the story of another lady who walked into the psychic fair I was working at, and I didn't see her come in. I went out and I felt that she had problems with her knee, and I said, well, okay, can I work on your knee? And she told me later she was really surprised. I went directly to the one that was hurting her, stayed there for 2-3 minutes doing Reiki, and then just got back up and sat down. And she got up and started walking around going, it doesn't hurt. She'd been limping for the better part of a week. Suddenly, it was fixed. It was gone. Reiki did that. Not me as a practitioner, not me as a healer. The energy did that. It came in and changed the energies in her body. Now it does this because Reiki is positive energy, and every problem in a person has negative energy associated with it. Reiki practitioners are taught to run their hand over somebody to find the problem areas. Advanced practitioners can close their eyes and look at somebody and say, oh, you've got problems there, you've got problems there. We are locating negative energy. Now, the positive energy of the Reiki hopefully overcomes the negative energy in the body. Okay, taking away the problems on whatever level, physical, emotional, spiritual. It's been used against diseases and illnesses of all kinds. I personally have used it on everything from headaches to cancer. Okay? Now, Reiki can be blocked by somebody who adamantly disbelieves it. Okay? If I go up to somebody and say, hey, I see you've got a problem, Reiki might help that. If they say, oh, that stuff doesn't work, then I'm just going to walk away because they've blocked it. But you don't have to believe in it. You just have to be open to a possibility that something could happen. Okay? And something could happen. It might be wondrous, or it might not do anything at all. Now, Reiki comes up against what we call the soul, and the soul is the gatekeeper of what happens to this body it's inhabiting. So, if the soul wants to fix the body, it's going to take the Reiki and say, let's fix the body. If it says, okay, this person needs to go through this as part of their existence here today, then it won't take the Reiki at all. If the person is near death and the soul says, well, let's take this energy, but let's put it aside and let's use it to travel when it's time. Okay? A lot of possibilities, from wondrous things happening to nothing happening. But that's the same case with any healing modality, including modern medicine. Okay? Somebody has a headache, and you give them an aspirin and say, okay, it'll cure your headache. If they absolutely don't believe it, it's not going to cure their headache. Same time, that same person could have a headache, you give them an M&M, oh, it's chocolate, and they believe it, it'll cure their headache. That's called the placebo effect. It's a known medical phenomenon. We as people, through our belief in our energies, accept things or don't accept things, and we actually change the properties of physical drugs that we're given. So, Reiki as an energy goes in, works on an energy level within the body. It can make changes, it can get rid of problems, it can calm people awesomely. People come in, they got the weight of the world on their shoulders, they're just stressed, they're upset, they're worrying about something. An hour later, they walk out calm, in control. We sit there and say, well, maybe it's just because you got to lay down for an hour, but it truly is the Reiki going into them that's calming them, because it has a really awesome calming effect. So, Reiki can heal physical problems. Reiki can calm somebody, healing mental issues, emotional issues, even spiritual issues. Reiki doesn't choose, that's a bad term, Reiki isn't limited to one thing. Reiki is going to do what it feels it needs to do most, and the scope of what it could do is absolutely massive. If you're thinking of going for an energy healing at some point, try Reiki. You may not like it, or you may feel it changed the world for you. The other thing is that we have people that come in and they say, well, okay, I don't feel any different after getting it. But 2 days later, they may be on top of the world and don't realize that it's the Reiki that they got here 2 days before that made massive differences. Sometimes it takes a little bit. So, it isn't always instantaneous. It doesn't always do the job, but the possibilities of what it can do are endless. Okay? Try it sometime. It's worth it. Take care. May light be with you.